welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the absolute most alluring mysteries in finance, copying insider trading. I mean, have you ever wondered if you could just, hack the stock market by looking over the shoulder of the people running the biggest companies in the world? Well, we are going to unpack a fascinating case study that uses Python to analyze SEC transactions, and it breaks down exactly what happens when you try to ride the coattails of corporate insiders. Get ready, because the data we're about to go through is going to completely flip how you look at stock charts.
So here is the burning question that pulls so many investors in. If a CEO buys, should you? When the boss puts their own hard-earned cash on the line to buy shares, it just feels like this massive, glowing signal that we should be doing the exact same thing, right?
And that leads us straight to what a lot of people consider the holy grail setup. Picture this really tempting scenario. A company's stock has fallen hard. The market is panicking, retail investors are selling off left and right, but then the CEO steps in. They literally file the paperwork and buy shares with their own cash. It's incredibly tempting to read that purchase as the ultimate vote of confidence. It feels like a total guarantee that the bottom is in, but is it actually? Section 1. Cleaning messy SEC data. Okay, let's get into it. To properly test this theory, we can't just cherry-pick a few lucky examples. We need cold, hard data. And that means using a Python workflow to crunch real regulatory filings, specifically pulling SEC Form 4 data using the EODHD API. But look, regulatory data is, frankly, a chaotic mess. To turn all of that into a clean, usable timeline, this case study had to apply some really rigorous filters. First, filtering strictly for code P, which basically means actual open market acquired shares by someone with a CEO title. So no option exercises, no complex derivatives, just real buys. Second, a CEO might buy shares at a bunch of different prices on the exact same day, which creates multiple rows of messy data. We just average those out into a single daily event. And third, if a CEO buys repeatedly over a few weeks, well, that's really just one sustained buying campaign. So any purchases made within 28 days of each other are grouped into a single episode. So after running 500 stocks through this absolute gauntlet of strict filtering, shrinking thousands upon thousands of messy Form 4 rows down to their absolute purest essence, we are left with this number: 137. That is exactly 137 distinct, pristine CEO buying episodes. And these are the exact signals we're going to follow through time to see if copying the boss actually makes you rich. Section 2. The illusion of huge returns. Now, if you are testing this strategy yourself, this is probably the exact moment you'd start, calculating your early retirement. But first, let's get some quick context. Every single one of these 137 CEO buying episodes shared a common starting point. They all began when the stock was already in a massive drawdown. Specifically, they were at least 20% below their trailing one-year high. So the stock took a beating, the CEO bought the dip, and the clock started ticking. And the sheer size of the payout here is just staggering. The raw data shows that 12 months after the CEO bought into that 20% drawdown, the average return of the stock was a jaw-dropping 35.4%. Plus, nearly 2/3 of all the observations were positive. I mean, just think about that for a second. A 35% average return in a single year. To quote the study directly here, the average return reached 11.9% after 3 months and 35.4% after 12 months. Looking at this, you've got to be asking yourself, doesn't this prove it? Doesn't this prove that copying the boss is a guaranteed win? I mean, it looks flawless. It looks like the ultimate cheat code for the stock market. Section 3. The plot twist. Control groups. But hold your horses, because there is a massive, fatal flaw in those shiny numbers. Remember how every stock in our sample was already down 20%? Well, guess what? Beaten down stocks bounce back naturally anyway. The market constantly overreacts to bad news, and then it eventually corrects itself. If we only measure what happens after a CEO purchase, we might just be crediting the insider signal for a natural recovery that was going to happen to those heavily discounted stocks regardless of who was buying. So, to find out the actual truth, we absolutely have to introduce a control group. We need to compare our CEO buys against identical stock crashes where there was zero insider action. We have to see what these beaten down stocks do entirely on their own, without the boss swooping in to save the day. To make sure this is a perfectly fair fight, the case study used a really strict one-to-one Python matching algorithm. For every single CEO purchase, it went into the data and found an exact twin. The control had to be the exact same stock ticker in the exact same calendar year. The drawdown had to be almost identical. We're talking within 5 percentage points. And crucially, there could be no CEO purchase within 28 days before or after. So now we have a perfectly matched set of twins, one with a CEO buy and one without. Section 4, the final verdict. Okay, we've finally stripped away the market noise. Did the CEO actually cause that massive 35% return, or was it just a mirage? Well, in a side-by-side comparison at the 1-month mark, there is absolutely no edge. The CEO group actually underperformed the control group. At 3 months, okay, the CEO group returned 6.2 percentage points more on average, and it beat the control in nearly 60% of the pairs. So this 3-month window is literally the only period where the data actually validates the myth. But at the 12-month mark, despite that massive raw average return we saw earlier, the median gap between the matched pairs actually turned negative. And this is the crucial takeaway right here. At 12 months, in a head-to-head matchup, the CEO group actually lost to the control group most of the time. Seriously, the CEO buys only won in 37.9% of cases. The control group, the stocks with no insider buying at all, won over 62% of the time. Now, how is that even possible when the average return was 35%? Well, it means a very small number of massive outliers dragged the average way up. But in the vast majority of normal cases, the insider signal completely fizzled out over the long term. So really, the insider signal is just a temporary 3-month reversal bump. The CEO buying creates this short-term narrative, a quick surge in confidence that lasts for, well, about a quarter. But after 12 months, that edge totally vanishes. The fundamental gravity of the stock just takes over, and it actually performs worse than if the CEO had done nothing at all. It is absolutely, for sure, not a long-term guarantee. Which brings us to the author's final and very important warning. This is an exploratory case study, not a trading strategy. The true value of this explainer isn't about giving you some green light to go out and day trade SEC filings. It's about demonstrating the supreme importance of testing your assumptions against a proper baseline. Because think about it, without the control group, we would have walked away thinking CEO buying was absolute magic. But with the baseline, we see it for what it truly is. And that leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to end on today. If a 35% average return can completely fall apart the second you apply a basic control group, what other investing myths are out there hiding behind bad baselines? The next time you see a really flashy financial statistic, do yourself a favor and ask, what is the control group? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep questioning the data.